If you're thinking about picking up an investment property here in Ontario and want to figure out what the right strategy is, then this video is for you. Today we're going to go over the 5 most popular real estate investment strategies, and it's all going to start right after this. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Kendrick Blanchard, a real estate agent with Oliver & Associates, servicing London, St. Thomas, and the surrounding area. It would mean so much if you can help me out by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification button to stay updated on all my future content. And if you want a free buyer's guide, just comment that down below and I'll give you access to it. Let's get started. Number 1 is the buy and hold strategy, and it's pretty straightforward. You buy a home and you hold on to it for a while. Now, the goal with this strategy is to find high quality tenants paying your mortgage in full while having some cash flow and gaining equity in the home year after year. For those who may be unfamiliar, home equity is the appraised value of your home minus your mortgage amount and any loan balances against the property. Depending on the area, most homes appreciate by 5% each year. Using the example of a $500,000 home, that would be $25,000 in equity in the first year under normal market conditions. Of course, this has a compounding effect. Over a period of 3 years, using the same example, you could see an appreciation of $78,812. In the beginning, you may not be cash flowing very much, but you'll be able to increase rents over time as you make upgrades and or follow market rent as tenants vacate. With the strategy, the money is made in appreciation year over year. For financing purposes on an investment property, lenders typically require 20% down. And of course, you'll have to be in good financial standing. This is probably one of the easiest strategies as it's very hands-off and doesn't require a lot of work. Number 2, the flip. Now, this is a very popular strategy and it's one that I see all the time. The idea is to find a home that's under market value, that needs some minor work done, and then to update it cosmetically to enhance the appearance of the property so that you can sell it as soon as possible and not carry any additional expenses such as mortgage paydown or the cost of utilities to maximize your return on investment. Personally, I've seen plenty of homes bought at a discount, renovated, and then sold 2 months later for $100,000 more than what they paid for the home. Now, finding the right home for this may take a while, but one home can end up generating you $30,000 or more on the sale after expenses, and it's something that you can definitely make a living doing if done properly. I strongly recommend that you learn as much as you can about renovations so that you have a better idea of costs and system processes. You want to know these things so you can make sure that contractors are only doing what's needed and not taking advantage of the situation so that you can keep your costs down, because at the end of the day, the longer you hold the house, the more it's going to cost you. Number 3, it's a mix of the flip and the buy and hold. With this strategy, you're looking for an undervalued property that needs some minor work and cosmetic upgrades so that you can rent it out at or above market value. You do this by making the home as modern as you can while staying within your budget. Making sure things like the furnace, the AC, water heater, appliances, and lighting are all energy efficient so you can save on your monthly costs and increase your cash flow. The idea here is to build as much initial equity and aesthetic appeal as you can so that you can charge higher rent, making the most of your investment. What's great about this strategy is that when another opportunity arises, you'll be able to refinance and take that equity out and obtain another home, and you're going to have an easier time obtaining a mortgage with better interest rates in comparison to just doing a flip, where you may have to go through B and C lenders to get the financing. Number 4, joint venture partnerships. These typically consist of 2 parties, one with all the money and the other with the project managing know-how. The financial partner will typically be on title by providing funds for the down payment and be there if there's any major repairs needed later down the road. The project manager could be someone who can obtain financing due to certain restrictions, but has the experience to know how to renovate, manage investment properties, handle contractors, and everything needed to get the highest return for both parties. It's important to make sure that both partners know exactly what their duties are and what will be expected of them in order to have a successful partnership. I recommend putting together a joint venture agreement outlining exactly what these duties look like and a project timeline for tasks. These agreements typically last the length of the mortgage, but there's a few things you can do when you're ready to move on. 1, you can continue the relationship and hold on to it for as long as you like. 2, you can sell the property and dispose of it between both parties. And 3, have one partner sell the house to the other and own it in full. Of course, this option depends on that partner obtaining the financing. These kinds of partnerships typically last a while, and many people continue on to create diverse portfolios consisting of multiple properties. Either way, it's good to know that you have options should circumstances change. And finally, number 5, rent to own. This is another great strategy from an investment standpoint. Let's break this down. Rent to own consists of 3 parties: the joint venture partner or investor, aka you, the facilitator, companies like JAAG Properties and Clover Properties, and the tenant buyer. It's a very passive way to earn income as an investor while having an exposure to real estate. The typical buyer tenant has a great steady income and enough money for a deposit, but can't obtain financing due to bruised credit or just not enough money for the down payment. The facilitator comes in and buys the home in a joint venture partnership with the investor and rents it back to the tenant buyer. The buyer tenant pays higher than market rent, covering the mortgage, insurance, property taxes, and with a portion of that rent going towards their down payment that they actually actually get back at the end so that they can own it in 3 to 5 years' time when the agreement ends. The investor will earn a passive monthly income from the agreement and a large bonus at the end when they sell the home back to the buyer tenant. The sale price of the home is predetermined and agreed upon by all parties at the beginning of the relationship. If the tenant buyer can't buy the home at the end of the agreement, then their deposit and the portion of rent collected for their down payment is forfeited to the investor and facilitator. You can then do whatever you want with the home or as specified in the joint venture agreement. The rent-to-own investment strategy can be quite lucrative without having to lift a finger. If you want a better understanding of how this all works, I'm going to drop some links down below and you can check out Clover Properties and JAAG Properties websites for more information. Well, that's it. I hope you were able to learn something here today. If you have any questions, go ahead and reach out to me directly, or you can just drop them down below. As always, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel to stay updated on all future releases. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.